All right, Shane Vetter here at Vetter House, dog training in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to take just a few moments to talk to you guys this morning about one of the most controversial tools and methods in the dog training world, or just in the dog world itself, and that's the subject of the e-collar. Now, when you hear the term e-collar, a lot of people get really uptight, and they think, well, that's just a tool from Satan himself, is what a lot of people think, and just chuck it in the trash, burn it in the fire. It's something that they banned in certain countries, and people in America, they're trying to push it to be banned all across the board. That this is a tool that should never, ever be used. So let's talk about that, and let's clear up some misconceptions about that as well in this little video. And so I want you to keep in mind, a lot of people have a certain perception of an e-collar. Their idea is that an e-collar is just shocking a dog into submission. In fact, a lot of people think that all e-collars, every one of them, all of them, have the purpose of shocking your dog. We'll talk about that they're not all shocking in just a moment, but the idea of shocking, they think in association with electricity. Like when you touch that electric fence, you get a big jolt. Or if you did something you shouldn't as a child, you took the fork and you stuck it in the socket, you got a big jolt there probably. And it wasn't quite pleasant. And so that is what a lot of people associate this tool with. And so it's deemed as barbaric. You're hurting that dog is what people tell you. Okay, is that true? So that's kind of the misconception people have about it. And even more, the manner of how you actually use it is highly misunderstood in the dog world, and I've noticed this 1,000-fold. So let's think about the e-collar. We're going to talk about what it is in just a moment, but I want you to just take a look at this. This is one of the remotes for an e-collar. If I'm going to use an e-collar for my own dog, and one of mine actually does, one of my younger shepherds, he uses it. And sometimes if I suggest it to a client, I'll suggest that tool. It's just the mini educator, and it is quite expensive to some people, but you do get what you pay for. Quality does matter with the e-collar. They're not all created equal. I will state that. So this is the remote for one. I'm not going to use this right now. It's on my German Shepherd Link, and I don't have a reason to use it at the moment. But I'll just show you, here's another one, and here's a collar, and I've never used this one. It's just one I found used, got it for a good price, and that way if I need it or a client needs it or whatever, here we go. But it's already on, and what you'll do in general, you'll take these red dots, you'll touch them together, and you'll connect them, and that helps it to send and receive to each other. Now, a lot of people, again, think you just take this, turn it up to a good level, and you shock the dog. Okay, consider one with this, especially with the mini educator. You're going to take it, you're going to first find their working level. That's when do they first feel it. And for me, when I did it, in general, for me, it was about a level, I think 19 or 20 the first time I ever did it. If I am cold, I typically don't feel it till a little bit higher up than that. When I've been working outside with the dogs and my hands are a little cold. But most dogs that I've ever been around, that I've worked with or seen, they will feel this really about on a level 5 or 6, give or take, very low level. And that's what you deem as your working level. Okay, when do they first feel it? Now, not only that, it's with this collar, I will tell you, with this collar right here, it's not a shock. Okay, you have what actually is more like a TENS unit. It feels like a stem. That's what it is. It's a stem. And you'll use this button right here for the stem. This will boost it up 5 levels. And then over here you got vibrate, which actually surprisingly can kind of surprise dogs in a lot different way than the stem can. This can actually be something that is not as good for some dogs. And I know some people would be surprised to hear that. But you'll take it and you'll just turn it up, and you'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4 until as you try to feel what is your working level, for the dog. And here's where people think, well, this is really going to hurt. You know, you're really going to hurt something or a dog by doing this. Now, I remember I've showed this and with some of the clients that I worked with, turning it up and to a certain level till I finally felt it, and just to show them what does it feel like. You know, I've let them feel it. I'm going to have this here so you'll know when I actually push it. You're going to see it turn red when I do push the button. But that way the clients can feel, what is this like? And I've not had one who's ever said it's hurt. I know of other trainers who have actually at their seminars, they had children test these out. What did they do? They giggled. They laughed when this went off because it didn't hurt. Okay, and that's something to keep in mind. It does not hurt on a typical working level. Can you make it hurt? You better believe it. You can turn it from 0 to 100. There's no reason for, in general purposes, to have to turn it to 100. Is there times where it may need to be uncomfortable? Sure, if you get into a correction phase. But in general, this is a tool where you're going to take it and you're going to, at least one of the things I do, and I know some other trainers who do this as well, you're going to find not just their working level, but when you find it, you're going to push the button. You may mark it with yes. Make sure they absolutely know that word, that marker word, and that it's associated with something good. It's associated with food, something positive. You associate it with that, but you don't want them to get all hectic and hyper and just in a good state of mind. And then you'll work on overlapping the commands and teaching through communication. And I'm not going to go into that so much in this video. That's not the purpose, but just to help you to at least understand some things about this tool. So here I'm going to start on this. This is a different color than the other. The other for me, I don't feel till about a 19 or 20, give or take. But here I'm going to start just with a level 5. Don't feel a thing. I'm going to actually go ahead and turn it up a little higher. And so I felt it at a level 12 on this collar. Okay, it just turned it up to 12. And you can see that right there. So I felt it at a level 12. So you can see I'm actually getting yeah, there you go. So you'll know I'm actually feeling that. I'm not just making that up. That didn't hurt. Again, it feels more like a tickle. And to a dog, what it becomes is just this odd sensation. It's not something that is really hurting that dog. Okay, you can follow, whether you follow me on Facebook or you follow other trainers like Larry Crohn's or Sean O'Shea. Some of them, they often will show just a lot about an e-collar and just the good uses of it. And here's one of the things with it. It's such a beneficial tool. There have been people in the purely positive world who say that all dogs, just by love and praise and treats, will become the most remarkable citizens in the world. Those type of people have had their own trainers who have suggested purely positive methods and worked with them with dogs, and then they've told them, well, that dog needs to be put down. And that happens far too often. Where dogs are suggested to be put down or dogs are put down because other methods weren't taken into account. And where some dogs who have been told to be put down have been taken over to other trainers who use more balanced methods and maybe do use tools like an e-collar, and those dogs thrived and they were rehabilitated and they did not have to die. And that's something I can't emphasize enough, as people have this mindset that we just can't use these tools and we have to really promote our purely positive manner. Understand, I'm all for positive as much as we absolutely can be. But here's a method, here's something that absolutely is beneficial and has saved a lot of dogs' lives. And that's something that can't be argued with. And I wrote down some things. I may not go into them so much, but some things of about the e-collar. I've been up, I don't even know if I mentioned this earlier now, I'm tired this morning. I've been up since 3 in the morning, so not all my thoughts are with me right now. But this collar, I want to encourage you, if you are in the dog world in general, okay, educate yourself. highly educate yourself on any tool that you're going to use. I will tell you that any tool can become abusive in the wrong hands. You can take a flat collar, you can take an e-collar in this case, you can take a choke chain, you can take a slip lead, you can take the easy walk harness, and then the different other tools like halties and easy walk type tools people use. You can even abuse food. Okay, food can be an abuse, or even things like praise, or even giving a dog comfort. You're listening to that and you're probably thinking, how can some of those things be abusive? Well, I could show you dogs who walk on flat collars, and while the people promote positive only or this or that, and their dogs are pulling them from here to China, and that pressure is going right here. There's a lot of pressure being put right here when that dog's pulling, and that's causing, for some dogs, that can cause permanent damage. It can cause a lot of issues right here. Your dog's hacking from here to China and back. But, okay, that can be something that can be used in an improper way. And so you have to teach your dog, of course, how to properly walk. That's a different video, different time. And other tools. Food can be an abusive thing. We live in a nation that is very self-indulgent and addicted to food. And food can be a good thing for people and for dogs. It's something to enjoy at times, sure. But we live in this culture where we eat any and everything, and we destroy our own bodies. And at the same time, sometimes people will feed their dogs in the same fashion. And then you've got dogs out there who are overly obese. They're diabetic. They've got all these health issues associated with it. Dogs are supposed to be lean. Okay, a healthy dog should be lean. I'm in the working dog world a lot more with German Shepherds. We want our dogs lean. We want them athletes. We want them to be able to do what they're bred to do, not be these fat couch potatoes who are just there all the time, struggling with all these health issues. Okay, so food can be abusive. Maybe think about even comfort. And this is where people get kind of uptight about this, because even comfort can be abusive to your dog. Psychologically, you can abuse your dog with comfort. It's not going to be this method, this means with every single dog. I want you to bear in mind. But I've seen a lot of dogs who, in the wrong state of mind, dogs who were acting up a certain way, growling at someone out of fear. The owner comes along and they're petting the dog, saying, "Oh, it's okay, he's not going to hurt you. Oh, come here and pet my dog." No, don't come here and pet my dog. And for the dog owner who coddles the dog and sweet talks it and tells it it's okay in those moments, that's not a time to do that for your dog. I've seen far too many dogs whose behavior has increased in a very negative way because the owner was encouraging that without knowing it. Just that petting and sweet talking when that dog is responding in a very agitated, fearful state. You can encourage all the behaviors you don't want in a dog like that. And we could talk about other tools. Again, I can show you a difference for people who think that say this is abusive, but some of the easy walk tools are not. Try them both out. Try the whole perspective of some of those easy walk tools on yourself. I can guarantee you, compared to what I just did with this right here doesn't compare. Those other tools can cause a lot more discomfort. Sometimes, with the wrong situation, they can cause damage to your dog. And they are deemed as the greatest tools in the positive-only world. So that's something you might keep in mind. And maybe one more thing that I'll mention in this video. There's about 1,000 other things with this topic I can mention, but I'm going to try to keep it as short as I can. This tool, a lot of people, people who oppose it, they're used to the fluffy retriever mentality. I've noticed this among a lot of golden retriever owners. I'm not as commonly known with them because there's a reason they're not called. They're not calling in to get you to work with their dogs. They're a lot easier in general, not always, but in general, a lot easier dog to work with. And there's a different mentality with those type of dogs in general, not always. But a lot of people from that persuasion think that with any dog, just loving cookies will rehabilitate a dog or help any dog, no matter the issue. Okay, we'll talk about genetics and other issues with some power breeds in another video. It's a different ballpark. But it comes with a mindset, well, you should use purely positive in every way, and that's what's often stated. And for some people, that takes an extremely long time, and so that dog is not able to be implemented into your daily, just your daily lives. What would you rather have? Use a tool that actually is not bad, just misunderstood. I know it can be bad in the wrong hands, yes. But would you rather use a tool like this, paired with positive reinforcement, paired with good training, and be able to implement your dog into your everyday life so much quicker that you can enjoy each other and have a good life? That's what I'm doing with one of my dogs he had some issues from genetics, okay, that were a monster to him, but he's thriving now. Would you rather be able to take a tool like that, implement your dog into your everyday life, and enjoy everything now, even while they're young? Okay, I wouldn't use this on a dog under 6 months, bear in mind. But take it for the dog now, or wait till they're just older and older and older, finally 8 or 9 years old, as some are, and now we can implement them into our daily lives. I've seen especially on one of the forums I'm on, where people who have taken dogs and they boast in their positive only methods. And they've got, a lot of them have retrievers. And these dogs they've had since they were a little puppy, 8-week-old puppies. Here they are, now 5, 6, 7 years old. And so many of them are struggling immensely with issues with their dogs that should have been nipped in the bud as a puppy. Okay, just think about that. So do your homework, educate yourself on this tool, all tools that you're thinking about using. Learn from a trainer when you talk about these, someone who is well equipped in this, not someone who's just coming along and buzzing the button multiple times and putting your dog into submission or using it improperly. There is a proper way to use this tool. So do those things and get out there. Get active with your dog, work your dog, and help him or her to be the best that he can be. And so my goal here, as always, whether with this controversial subject or any others, is to help you, to help your dog. I want to equip the owners. That way their dog can be happy, healthy, and balanced, and can be an everyday part of your lives. And so if you have any questions about this tool, if you want another video about this tool or other topics, I'm going to be uploading some other videos soon in the near future. And so just give me a shout out if you'd like that. And on the other hand, if you need any help with dog training, just hit me up for that as well. I'm always willing to help. And so hope you guys have a good day this Tuesday morning. And as always, thank you guys so much.